from the All Things Comedy Studio. Welcome to Random Rants with Pauly Shore.
Yeah, dance, Bill, dance, yeah, cut the music, cut the music, cut the music. What's up, you guys? My name is Pauly Shore, and I'm the host of the beautiful podcast entitled Random Rants. It's when I just basically randomly rant about whatever's on my mind. There's not a lot of stuff that's planned. I just kind of fucking flow. And Bill, here's my little sidekick today, and my little Larry Bud Melman. Can you tell people, where people can find the podcast?
Oh, we're on YouTube, on Spotify, on Pauly's website, All Things Comedy.
Yeah, All Things Comedy.
All
here.
over the place.
Yeah, and so without further ado, let's introduce my first guest. I'm very excited about him. Can you tell us about the new guy?
Oh,
or
certainly.
Not the guy, but the guest today.
Certainly. Born and raised in Long Beach, California. Has a special on Showtime right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, called Stay at Home, Son.
Yeah, Stay at Home Son. Ladies and gentlemen, my buddy, here he is. Keep it going for Jesus Trejo. Yeah. Dance. Why are you not doing it? You're not feeling it. Do you dance? Wait, dance over there. Come on. You dance? Okay, that's good. Yeah. Good. What's up? Cut the music. Cut the music. What's up, my man?
What's up, bro? What's going on?
So he's kind of like the hot dog guy, right? From those commercials in the 80s? I don't know.
Before my time.
Yeah.
Before my time, Pauly.
Oh man, here we are. This is it.
This is great. Nice shirt.
I'm back on the mainland. I was in Maui for a long time.
I know.
Quarantining out there. We talked a lot.
Yeah, we did. It was you were sending me photos of what it was out there. Beautiful.
Yeah, but we talked a lot.
We did.
A lot. You know what I mean? It was
Can you say it one more time? A lot. It's like, God.
No, because
it's during my phone's prepaid. You know that, right?
Oh, it is? Is it good or bad? I don't know what that means.
See, that's when you know you made it. You don't know whether that's good or bad. God bless you, Pauly.
No, but the thing is I was in Maui for about, I'd say 3 months. And we were all kind of stuck in this kind of rut, whatever it is, whatever it is that we were stuck in this place, whether you're in Maui, whether you're at your apartment, whether at your place, stuck. And when you're stuck, you have a lot of time to reach out to people,
right?
And I
a lot of time,
a lot of time. And I said, and I said that. No, I'm starting to tear up a little. I said that as you start, it's almost like, I don't want to say like when you're gonna die, you want to call all your friends up, but it's almost like you feel like, the world's fucking ending. I want to talk to all my friends.
Right.
And it was like, not that we don't talk when we're not quarantined.
Yeah.
But what was that like to get messages from me and talk to me all the time? I mean, we had a really nice. You're telling about your green screen and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I think the quarantine was such a interesting place because we got to look, we're so involved in this rat race of we want to do this, we want to do that, and I'm pretty close to my family, but it's like to be at home and having to work and trying to find out what the new workflow was going to be like, and be able to connect with Pauly. Like he said, it's like we talk all the time, but we talked a lot. And,
cool.
And it was nice to connect because look, I've been on the road with Pauly. I talk to him all the time at the store, even outside of comedy, we would hang out. But to be able to connect, he was in Hawaii, I was at home, and to celebrate my triumphs, and I celebrated his. He was like, hey, I'm doing the podcast from out here. Hey, I'm doing this. Oh, that's cool, Pauly. What are you doing? I learned how to edit, off of YouTube videos, edit videos. And, I was working on some projects. I'm like, I did this. He's like, oh, that's cool. So.
And then I had seen some of your stuff and I commented, I'm like, that looks dope because what did you do? Tell us what you did.
I did I was trying to put together a cooking show of stuff that I try to replicate. It's like in the vein of, when we're kids, we see Bill Nye and the Science Guy and he does an experiment and you try to do it. That was my approach to cooking videos. I'm like, can I recreate it? And the answer is no. every time, but it was fun.
Yeah, but it was interesting because we all got kind of put in a position to
Create.
figure out what the fuck to do. You know, and everyone was like, "What the fuck are we gonna do?" I got a lot of messages from people saying, "Do a Zoom comedy," you know, or let's go fucking do a drive-through comedy. You know, everyone's like doing all these fucking things. Everyone's trying to figure it out.
Sure.
Everyone's trying to figure out how to monetize being stuck, you know, in their place, and how do you fucking make that transformation, because the world has shifted into that into that world, and like, how are you gonna make money off of being fucking stuck at home? You know, unless
Sure.
you have, you know, 40 million followers on Instagram or something like that.
Right, but it was a time for people to realize that it wasn't so much like the monetization of it all. It was more of, how can I still be creative? Because I started to realize it's like, you know, creativity or is like, life is like water. It has to kind of keep moving, because the moment it stops moving, it goes bad, you know? So it's like, the moment you stop creating in some way, shape, or form, it's like when you start feeling all these emotions of, I don't know, you maybe feel down, and you can counteract that by creating. And I found, you know, a way to stay creative drawing. I was animating stuff. I even told Pauly I animated the logo at the end of my special. Like, I had to incorporate. I've never done that, and they're like, we're gonna put that at the end of it. They can put a logo together. I said, no, I want to create that as well. I have time. You know, and I've always been into animating. I took some animating courses in high school, and I still remember a thing or two, but to be able to figure out the program, what I'm going to use, the drawing, and animate it, I mean, it's so fulfilling. I mean, Pauly can tell you, I've always known this man to be constantly creating. He's never not had 5 things on the cork board. Whether they go or not, it's irrelevant, but he's always creating. To me, that was a big takeaway from years of knowing Pauly. And
so let's go into that. So I always like to explain to people who the person is. He is a stand-up comic. He's from Long Beach. He's been doing it about 8 years. 8 years. You have your first Showtime special. It just came out. No, you've been doing stand-up for how long? 10 years?
No, 13.
Oh, 13 years. You've been working with me for 8 years.
Yeah.
And you got your first Showtime special.
Yeah.
And, you know, I met you. I remember seeing you for the first time. It was in the parking lot at the Comedy Store, and you were used to have. Let me see your hair.
No, now
right
I shaved it off, you know.
But it was this look. You're like a little baby Edward J. Olmos. You know what Edward J. Olmos is?
Oh, of course, the actor.
Yeah. So right.
Yeah. No.
Tell him about the look that you had.
So I used to have a comb over.
Oh.
And I would comb it from all of this side all the way to the other.
Okay.
And it would lift, so it was. I was really like.
Tell that joke that you see, which is. Hilarious.
I don't have the hair anymore.
I know, it was funny.
I shaved 20 minutes off my act when I cut it off.
I know, that's hilarious, because you used to do this thing, right?
Yeah, I used to do this thing, so I used to like use it as a prop basically. So I put
hilarious.
you know, hairspray or gel to lock it in, and then it would catch wind and it would like lift up, but it would go. You know,
that was like your go-to line. Like when you started opening for me,
bro.
That was like.
Let me tell you something. This is how I know I had a rough set the night before, because I would pull out this joke. You know, I would do the thing, and it would kill. It never not killed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can tell
it was
how
likable. It was very likable too.
I could tell how hard I was bombing, and the way I pulled out that joke, because the next day my neck would hurt a little bit.
Oh wow.
I'm like, I was really like cranking my neck, trying to drive the point of the joke.
Yeah.
But to go back
I found you parking cars at the store. You were sweating all the time. You looked like Edward J. Olmos. You had Coke bottle glasses. But I knew, just like when I saw Bobby Lee, okay, in La Jolla, and I saw him down there working the door, I'm like, this guy's fucking, there's something unique about him.
Sure.
So I knew, like, this guy has a likability and a uniqueness, and then obviously now you just got to put in the time.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I knew of the store, and I was a big fan of the store, and you know, there's this legendary story of the store, you know, rest in peace, Mitzi, that she created this institution that was so like, I mean, it was just like, you know, in cartoons when they walk into like, into this huge room, or like they walk up to a building and they're like, wow,
well, I call it the Emerald City of comedy.
It is.
That's what I've always called it.
But I remember even before then, you know, it's like I was already doing comedy for a few years. I started in Long Beach, you know. First guy who gave me a spot on stage was this comedian by the name of Cochino, right? And he ran a room there, and you know, I was always aware of the store, and I wanted to go, but it was like, I don't know, I kind of stayed away. And then, a few years later, I started going on the road with Steve Trevino. And Steve Trevino was like, real comics are built at the store. This place has a tried and true place of development. He's like, you should hang out there for a year and get a job. Like that's the way to do it. And I didn't know that was an option, and he illuminated me into this quadrant of, oh, you work there. So now I'm hanging out there for a year. I hung out for a year flat.
Wow. Yeah.
Begging for a job.
Yeah.
Everybody, Dean.
Yeah. And what year was this about?
It was right after college. So like around 2010.
Right. So I found you, right? And I kind of took you under my wing a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because I had Sandy Danto and Bobby Lee and John Caparulo and all these different guys, Steve Renazizi. They were all opening for me.
Yeah.
And I kind of gravitated to you. And then, do you remember the first gig we did together?
Nashville.
Wow.
Nashville was the first gig. So.
And that was 8 years ago?
So yeah, something like that. Because
I developed a lot of the guys that, you know what I mean? Because to be honest, I mean.
You had a lot of guys on the road with you at the time.
But to be honest, a lot of these comics, when you just work the store, you're not that good.
No.
And their confidence is really, because it's a hard room.
Yeah, it's a hard room.
Especially a while ago, when it was all scattered. And then when you go out to America, you didn't do so well. Right. It's kind of like we were talking about, like when I opened for Howie Mandel.
Yeah, everybody sucks.
It was terrible.
We all suck at the beginning.
So, but I threw you into Nashville. So tell us about that experience 8 years ago. What, you mean you're from Long Beach?
I'm from Long Beach.
Hispanic. You've never been on a fucking plane?
No.
You told your parents, you're like, Pauly Shore is taking me. And they're like, who's Pauly Shore?
No.
And you showed them my movies and shit. What happened?
So.
Because I remember you said some shit like, dude, I told my parents I'm going on a plane.
Yeah. I'll definitely get to that. So it's like, I meet you at the store. So at the time I'm on the road with Steve. He took me under his wing. Steve Trevino, he took me under his wing. We're working a bunch, and now I'm an employee. I'm an employee at the Comedy Store. I'm excited.
Your hair's sweating.
My hair's sweating. I'm sweating. And
who are you parking cars for sometimes?
You.
Well, but who other people? What comics?
Oh, I mean,
they
you
all
name
pull
it.
in. So tell them.
Yeah, you name it. I mean, it was Pauly pulling in. It could have been, Al Madrigal, Bill Burr. It was, I mean, literally, you name it. I've parked their cars. Sometimes I would just see the car out in public, like on my own. And I'm like, oh, Roadrunner. Pauly.
I remember. Who was the most famous comedian you ever parked their car for at the store?
I mean, a bunch. I mean,
you ever park for like Eddie Murphy or?
Eddie Murphy, I never parked his car. I remember Russell Brand came in and I didn't know how to work his Range Rover, and I hit the thing for the windshield wipers and it went zzz, zzz,
oh God!
He had just got it.
All right, what the fuck, mate?
He just
the fuck is that bullshit, mate?
No, he just smiled and was like, hey man.
Right.
I'm like, I'm a big fan because I'm geeking out as a thing spraying water on this freshly detailed car. And I'm trying to turn it off and it's going faster, So it's like, a lot of my first experiences with comics in the lot was very comical because you're starstruck. You're a fan of comedy. You're a student of comedy. So that's where I met Pauly, and he goes, dude, I want to see you go up on stage. I'm like, oh, Pauly, I'm not going to get up today because I don't get to get up, right away. And he's like, no, I'm going to see you go up here in a little bit. I'm like, I'm parking cars, because us getting up depended on the host. If there was time for like the new guys, then you get seniority as a door guy. So I'm like, no, Pauly, I'm not getting up today. But next week, if you're around, I'd love for you to check out my set. So I'm parking cars, and he's like, dude, you're up. I'm like, what? And I got to go up.
That, yeah.
And I can hear Pauly in the back like laughing, but the kind of laugh that they're laughing at you, not with you, because I would hear the.
Right.
Yeah. And I got off and I'm sweating.
Yeah.
I was bad. I bailed on the light. And then I'm like, Pauly, what'd you think? He's like, I'm telling jokes. He like said something else or whatever. He mocked me. And then I'm like, all right, well, that's that. Back to parking cars. So I go to park cars, and then sometime later, actually Matt Edgar, right, takes me up to your office, and Matt Edgar was like, this dude's funny, man. He's like, he's like, you should consider him going on the road. And you're like, actually, somebody couldn't do it. I forgot what that story was, but somebody couldn't do it, a Fallout. But Matt Edgar took me up to your office.
Oh, wow.
And then, because we had already met, but I wouldn't go up there. and then you're like, yeah, let's go. So we go to Nashville, and you tell me that we're going to Nashville, and then we were going to do Chattanooga, and then.
You being Hispanic from Long Beach, middle America.
I had never heard of Chattanooga.
Yeah.
You know, so I go home and I tell my pops, I'm like, hey, I'm going on the road. I'm going to Nashville. And my dad goes, what? They don't have comedians over there? What do they need you? And I was just like, no, like I'm going to open like for Pauly and, you know, Nashville. It's a pretty big deal. He's like, so there's nobody in Nashville that tells jokes. They need you. I'm like, Dad, like it's kind of hard to explain. I'm going to be opening jokes. Like I'll be like first guy they see, and then I bring him up, and he didn't understand. I go on the road, and it was a great experience. It was, but it was cool. It's like I had never been in front of an audience that wasn't at that point like in LA.
Oh,
you know. So I think even if somebody wasn't per se like Latino, they had a frame of reference just by living here of what I was talking about. You know, I talked about everything about myself personal. But it's like they were familiar with the Latino, and some of these markets, they, you know, it's like they didn't know what a Mexican was per se, you know. I mean, they did, but they didn't, you know. Maybe they were more acquainted with Puerto Rican or, you know, or Dominican, but not necessarily what.
So what was it like being Mexican performing in front of like, you know, a red state? Honestly. You know?
It was challenging. I mean, there were some times where I felt like I didn't want to do comedy anymore. You know, because
did you feel like a racism thing come up?
Totally.
Oh, you did. So what was that like?
It was because it's like
because they're so red, right?
They're whatever it is. You know, ignorant, red. Like there's so many different variables. It's not. It's not like. Because it's a red state, it's not because it's just they weren't familiar with me. It's, you know, that's irrelevant. It's more like I'm not familiar with you, so it's like maybe out of fear they would say stuff. You know, I'll be like working your merch line, and they would say stuff, and sometimes you would hear it.
Yeah, I remember one time there was I have an assistant that worked for me. This kid Blaine. I don't know if you remember Blaine. He's a little Hawaiian kid. No. He was hilarious. He's really
was he a comedian?
No, he's my assistant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he just came on the road. And he would help me in the merch line. And because he was like little and Polynesian, you know, a lot of my audience would kind of make fun of him. And it got so bad, he started crying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like really, like it wasn't cool. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, because they were making fun of him.
Yeah.
That's
you know
not
what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, that's how it is out there. You know, sometimes, and they don't know.
Rough,
sometimes they're drunk. Hey man, look at that little bull right there. You know what I mean?
But it's also the lack of experience, I think, as a comic is like sometimes you don't know how to navigate these things. You know, it's like, and sometimes you can spin it into like a funny, positive thing.
Cool. So you worked with me for 8 years. Let's talk about the difference, how better you got coming back to the store. You're at the store, you hit with Pauly. You're at the store, you know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. Like, and then finally, Adam Egid or someone from the store is like, holy shit, this guy's fucking crushing. So tell me about that because. You know, and it's not just opening for me, but you open for other guys.
Yeah, I open for a lot of comedians, but just I think the experience that you gave me, and you know, from my day one mentor to, you know, comics who were kind enough to take me under their wing along the lines, you learn something, you know, and what I think a comic learns on the road is to be like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like. You try to get as many experiences under your belt. So when you go to the store, you know, you're ready, but also the store gets you ready for
the road.
The road, bro.
Yeah, it's a combo,
It's a combo. It can't exist one side without the other. Yeah. And what I mean by that is like, you know, let's just say that I did a week with Pauly. I come back, I go to potluck, and at the time potluck was Sunday and Monday. You know, and that's for those of you listening who don't know what potluck is, it's like a development night, you know, new material. You know, you get to see young comics starting out all the way to some more seasoned, all the way to some very special guests popping in. So I would come back and I can try out new material. And sometimes it was material that worked on the road. And I come back into the OR and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna crush him with this one. And then you figure out, no, you just came back with a road trick.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Something that works in a very specific circumstance.
Correct.
or market.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can learn something in the original room, which I feel is like the hardest but yet most rewarding room in the country.
Yeah.
And take it on the road, and it's like, oh, that's too LA specific.
Yeah. And then also, you started growing up a lot on the road. I mean, at first you were fucking with me with the elevator and shit, and you know what I mean. And you were
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I will say I learned a lot because when I was younger, I was definitely very annoying. It's like my sense of humor was pranking, and I'm an only child, so it's like I've never had siblings, so whenever I had friends around, it was always like, hey, I was just annoying. It's the best way I could describe it. And young kid, annoying, and being around Pauly, he's a silly dude, so it's like started messing around.
You thought. Sometimes I am.
Yeah, sometimes he is.
Go on.
But it was just so.
And we were in the middle of working on Politics, which was my Showtime special.
That's
and I was
right.
like all stressed out because I was doing so many things. Tell them what you did in the elevator.
Yeah, so we're in the middle of Politics. We're in some state. I forget. I want to say it was Cincinnati. I forget exactly where it was, but we had done radio, and Pauly knows that I love going to radio. I think it's one of the coolest things ever.
Oh, okay.
In the morning.
In the morning, you wake up early, grab some coffee, show up. So we went to radio. We're coming back, and Pauly had to go to the restroom, right? And on the way back, we're all laughing in the car. He's passing gas. He's like, "I'm not gonna make it, guys," and we're all laughing, windows down. We're like, I was like, "Pauly, man, you gotta go now." He's like, "No, I'll make it. I'll make it to the hotel." So we get there, and he gets off.
Runs in the elevator.
Yeah, wobbles into the elevator. We're in there, and I'm staying like on the, let's say, 3rd floor.
Okay.
And Pauly's staying at the 20-some-odd floor. So I'm like, all right, man, good luck. He's like, dude, I'll see you. And I grab all the elevator buttons. I go, brrr, I push them all. And as they were closing, he's like, dude, you fuck. I didn't get to see the word up, and I'm like, oh, he's pissed. And then
Ouch.
I remember standing there, like 10 seconds later going, I'm still staring at the wall. I go, oh, fuck. Like, I fucked up.
Yeah.
That was a big fuck up. So I go to my room, and I'm like sweating up a storm. I'm nervous. And then this is how I knew I was in trouble. He didn't call me to my cell phone. The telephone in the hotel room rang. The most jarring thing. And I'm in my room. It's dark. He's like, dude, come into my room. I said, fuck.
Uh-oh.
So I go up there, and the door's already like, it has like the little jam thing, so it's already pre-open.
Chain.
I open it, the room's cold. It's still like there's smell in the room, because he went to the right. And he's standing there, legs crossed, handkerchief, and he's playing with his hair. He's like, dude, have a seat. And he just stays quiet. He doesn't say anything. He probably stays quiet for a solid minute. And I'm there just sweating even
With
more.
your flap.
Yeah, with my flap all messed up. I didn't even get a chance to like put hairspray in it. And he's like, why'd you do that? And I was like, I'm so sorry, Pauly. And then, he just was telling me, he's like, dude, you got to stop doing that. It's like, and I remember the real conversation that we had of, hey, sometimes I was guilty of that too at a younger age. And I pissed some people off. And, I don't know that that's a smart move as somebody who's trying to build a career. He's like, I've had a career and still am doing a bunch of stuff. He's like, but you're starting out. He's like, you don't have the luxury that I have. He's like, be mindful of what you're doing. Because he understood that I was, an annoying kid.
Yeah, you were just having fun, yeah.
But it was an opportunity to maybe have me learn a lesson.
Yeah,
right.
And it was just the main thing that I said is this is a serious business. I get, yeah.
and then I'm holding it in, trying not to laugh. No.
Right.
No, take it serious. Well, why do you think you got a fucking Showtime special? Jerking off? You took it serious.
Yeah.
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 So
No.
it's
No.
like
No. No.
serious.
For sure.
So-
But it's
so
like
that was.
It's true.
Yeah. So and also. Tell us about selling merch for me, on the road. Tell them about that one story about the Budweisers and all that shit.
Oh, well, yeah. It's
And
like,
what that experience is like for you when you first started with me.
yeah, selling merch
And how
probably
important,
my.
and how important it is.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Probably my least favorite though, because it's tough.
Right.
It's tough, and for an introvert like me, it was very tough to sell merch.
Did it help you though connect with people? Once they came up, and because there was times I'd watch you, because I always have eyes at the back of my head, when people are, because it's, when you do things in life, you're either like jump in or you're kind of resistant, and
Right.
sometimes you feel that. And like, for instance, Sandy's not resistant on merch. He dives in. He's
Yeah.
fucking Danto's like way in, and he has fun with it, and we joke, and all of a sudden it goes by real quick. Matt Egger, the worst at selling merch. and then there's other people that are kind of, and then you were always kind of like, and I always had to kick you, right?
Yeah.
And be like, dude, there's people
We
here.
even
like,
got in each other's face about it too, but it's like we you know, it was just like me trying to explain to Pauly that it's like not everyone is built for this, for that aspect of it. And sure, I learned a tremendous amount, but you know, selling merch I think was very important only because it helped me get out of my shell,
Right.
you know? So that there was good side to it, but it wasn't my favorite, you know? And
no, but I for me, you know, I make some money from it, of course.
But that's how we were able to get on the road.
Exactly. You know, you know, I pay for your plane ticket and food and all these different hotels, blah, blah, blah. But the main thing for me is that the more important thing for the audience, I feel, that's just my feeling, is that they get to take a picture with the person that they came to see, that they grew up with. You know what I mean? And I shift into that and I think about them when I'm doing that because, you know, they're grabbing you and they're doing all that shit. So like, that's why I was always like the guys with the merch, I'm like, listen, motherfucker, these people grew up with me. They're my fans and I mean something to them. So show some respect to them and be fucking open-hearted to them and be a host.
Right. Yeah.
And be sweet to them because they're sweet to us. You know what I mean? And it's hard. You know, especially you just did a fucking show. You're fucking tired.
Right.
You know, and you don't feel like shifting into, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but-
and it's hard, but it's
But
good.
again, that's part of like, you know, the job that we signed up for, being able to be professional and turn it on. It's like, hey, you need to be on right now. Hey guys, one group, one shot. We got 2 lines here. We got Pauly merch here. It's like, you know, don't touch
Pauly. Pauly touches you. Yeah.
And don't lean on him because he hurt his back trying to get an apple for his mom.
Yeah.
You know, stocking stuffers. We all after a while we had the pitches nailed down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so tell us about the one thing, and then we want to talk about your Showtime special and your parents and all that stuff. Tell us about the experience. Were we playing in Montana or some shit?
Oh my goodness, this is one of my favorites, and Pauly's favorite too. We couldn't stop talking about it. Even to this day, we still bring it up. They're like beer boxes, bro. So we do a, I think it was like Wyoming, to be honest. Yeah, one of those up there. Yeah.
And the lady with the mink drove us and shit, right? In her Jeep.
Oh, the big truck.
Yeah, I remember
that was
the
a
mink.
crazy big.
But it was such an obscure venue that we played.
So it was a venue that was like half bar, half liquor store.
Oh.
And
Yes, and I was performing in the bar part.
yeah, he was performing in the bar
Or
part.
we were
Okay.
performing.
Yeah, and you know, so we did the show and we pull up and it was like a car show. All these beautiful Rise trucks. It was like a car show for trucks.
Well, we didn't know how people in this particular city were so rich. Right?
Right.
They were really rich people.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the middle of
Okay.
nowhere.
Middle of nowhere, but it was fun. We had a great show, fun. But because of how small the bar was, the owner was like, you know what? I think to set up merch, I think it would be best to set up in the liquor store. And Pauly's like, no, dude, let me see it. So we're in the liquor store, and the guy's like, yeah, we can set it up right here. And then he's like, do you guys have tables? He's like, and I think the guy suggested like, we can move the beers. He's like, all right, let's get to it. So we start moving beer, and we make a table.
Like 24 packs of beer.
Oh,
yeah.
those big, yeah.
Yeah, so there's 2 to a carton, right? And they lay sideways. So we're moving those and building a
makeshift table for a merch table.
yeah, merch table. So now we got
On top of Colt 45s or some shit.
and literally imagine this to be all beers,
Right.
and this is all the
Refrigerator.
the refrigerator with the glass doors. There's 40 ounces. There's beers. There's chocolate milk over here.
Gatorade and shit.
So that's our backdrop.
And we got a long line of people.
And this is the table. Pauly's here. I'm selling. Hey,
One group,
one shot.
Don't touch Pauly.
Yeah, and we have another show, so please no groups. We got to turn over the room, and the line is long. If you want to buy merch, you can step to the front of the line, kind of thing. So the line is long, and then as we're taking pictures, this woman comes from behind, and you can tell she's probably had a few brews, and then Pauly goes, "No, babe, you got to get in line." She's like, "I don't want to get no dang Pauly merch. I want to get a beer." She opens the thing from behind us, takes out a 40 ounce, takes out another. She just like leaves, and then Pauly's like, "Whoa, babe." But she cut the whole line. Did not want anything to do with comedy. She wanted her 40 ounce.
She just wanted her beer.
Yeah.
And on that note, it's time for rant what?
Number 2, baby.
Number 2, dude, dance. All right, cut the music, cut the music, cut the music. So, so let's talk about taking care of your parents. That's a big thing. So you're 33 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still live at home. You're an only child.
Yeah.
And you take care of your parents. Am I allowed to say why you take care of them? Are they ill? Are they not ill? Are they kind of ill? Because you're not that old. Because I was really old when my parents died. My dad died at 92 and my mom died at 87. So I was in like my 40s, late 40s, early 50s when my parents passed. So you're 33, dude. So what's going on with that? I mean, when you say take care of them, do you just live with them, or do you like really?
Yeah, no,
are they not well, or?
Yeah, they're not 100%.
And how old are they?
75, 76 now.
So that's young. That's young.
It's fairly young, but they've had a hard life. They've worked a bunch, so they basically have worked their body to the point where health issues come up, and I take care of them, and I'm a caregiver. Essentially, I do the day-to-day. I'm involved in their medication, their, insulin, and, drawing blood, seeing where their sugar levels are at.
So what's that like? I mean, taking care of your parents.
It's challenging, but it's just juggling. It's just adding another ball to this juggle,
Yeah, but can they walk? I mean, are they?
My mom is not very mobile. Like she can sometimes, but we have the wheelchair. And
what's it? But what's it like when you go on the road, or
it's
you're
tough.
like here? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Do you have like a Jesus number 2,
wish.
person that can fill in when you're gone?
I
because
wish.
when my mom was not well, she had 2 caregivers. You know what I mean? Tag team.
And literally, that was one of the things I was going to ask you off camera, but just so you don't forget, I need to talk to you about
For
him.
Alfred, he's ready to go.
Yeah,
I do you. I'm always looking for work, dude.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, done deal. I'll tell you
he's
more
great.
about it, but
yeah,
see,
my mom's caregiver guy, his name was Alfred, and he was with my mom for 15 years.
Very sweet
And
guy.
I took you to see my mom towards the end of her life. We went and brought
Christmas tree.
trees
That
and
was
stuff.
cool, man.
Yeah. And I knew it would be cool. It's kind of like how I brought Josh here. Josh Martin was here because he's one of my dear friends. I wanted you guys to connect.
Yeah,
and,
Josh is the best.
Yeah, and a very, very close friend of mine, and it was important for me because I'm all about comics. That's all I care about are you guys. I really do. And it was important for me to give the experience to you to come and see my mom, knowing she wasn't going to be around for a long time, and pick up a tree and get you to experience, my mom, not Mitzi Shore, but my mom, and oh wow, that's Pauly's mom, and then oh yeah, and it's Mitzi Shore, and we did we do it 2 years in a row, or was it?
I want to say 3.
3 years in a row.
Yeah, and I got to decorate the tree. I put it up, and then
What'd she say? Oh, look at that. What did she say to you, my mom? She wasn't speaking a lot.
She wasn't speaking a lot, but she I would say hi, introduce myself, and I was nervous. I was like hi, and then I would laugh. I was like hi, and then she would smirk at me and kind of give me the nod. So it was nice. It was
She knew what was going on.
Yeah.
She knew you were a younger comic, and that I was kind of.
You explained that to her, and she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I said, Mom, this guy's really funny, and you had your hair and your glasses, and she liked you. Yeah.
She liked me, and it was just to meet the legend, It's
and then Alfred was there as the caregiver. I'll hook you up with that. Okay, I apologize. So go into taking care of your parents and what that experience is like. Because do you wash your parents?
Yeah.
Really? You see them naked?
Well, I mean, I have to step
Yes
up
or
to
no?
I just said yeah.
That's crazy. Cause I never washed my mom. Alfred washed my mom. I mean, I kind of was there all the time and bringing her food. And
What kept you from doing it?
too gnarly. Too gnarly.
You felt like you couldn't
Stomach it.
stomach it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess that's
And also seeing my mom
sure.
like that,
But I guess
I mean, there was a lot of times where I took her to the bathroom.
sure. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I would always take her to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Wait here. Don't leave. Pauly, wipe this. That type of shit.
Sure.
But I didn't bathe her. Because
Yeah.
it was a little.
But there's a
much
way to
for-
do it. There's a way to do it that she feels comfortable and I felt comfortable doing it, So it's when I have to help my mom in that regard, there's a way that we do it, It's that way she, she's not embarrassed.
Yes.
And for me it's I don't care. It's there needs to be, like, you need to do something. Let's just do it, you know, and we can get past it. It's not fun for her. It's not fun for me. But if we just do it and get it over with, hey, man, let's go back to, you know, our
I just
regular
felt,
lives.
for me, you know, I felt like it was just an uncomfortable thing.
Sure.
And I think a lot
and
of,
everyone's different.
Yeah, everyone's different. But I made sure that, you know, and my brothers, we always made sure that she had the best care, you know what I mean, all the way.
And I
know.
think it's also, I think that's the difference. You know, you dealt with it later in life where, you know, you had the means to, you know,
Get a caregiver.
a caregiver. And for me, I tried the caregiver thing for a little bit, but it was an extreme expense. You know,
Yes, it's very expensive,
And
yeah.
I had to get it because I had this, you know, work-wise, and you know, a lot of the regular gigs. See, that was the thing. When I had to get a caregiver, it was just for like a day or two, and that expense was so crazy that I just hired the person in order for me to do the gig and not lose the opportunity, and I broke even at best, many times.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like I can't let off the gas. So it's so tough, and I think I'm grateful. Here's why I'm grateful that I'm a caregiver. It allowed me to have a sense of urgency in this business where even though I was fucking around early on, it's like, you cannot fuck around, man, because there's going to be a time where it's going to become more difficult, hence right now. With time, these things don't get better with time, unfortunately, you know.
Yeah,
so
it
you
gets
know where
harder.
it's headed. You know,
Yeah,
it's
it
life.
gets
It's a cycle of life. So you know where it's headed. Why lie to yourself? So it's like, I better work hard because there's going to come a day where more opportunities are going to be, you know, coming about. And if you don't have the means to do it, you're going to miss out. So I had to work 20 times harder, 100 times harder than the next guy because I may not be the funniest. I mean, I do okay, but I'm going to have to outwork everybody around me.
And what's it like seeing your parents falling apart and getting older? I mean, what's it like to you to watch that?
It's not good. I mean, it's like imagine seeing your superhero, you know, losing a battle. You know, it's
How
like,
does it make you feel?
well, it's tough.
Yeah.
And
Well, no, me and you have had talks about it.
it's tough because
You know,
it's like you
yeah.
can't.
Your
you-
documentary, you did a documentary about it.
Yeah, there was a documentary done through ARP Studios. You know, it was the second project they took on after Dinner with Don Rickles, and you know, they learned of my situation. They followed me for a year, and it's like sometimes it's like you feel guilty. You know, in the documentary we talked about you feel guilty that you can't be around.
Yes.
You know, a lot, and it's like I need to be around, but sometimes the best way you can help, I've come to learn after much therapy and you know, kind friends around that have told me that it's like the best way you can help them is by you taking care of your shit. So when the need comes, it's like you're ready.
Right.
You know, and sometimes it's like that's a hard lesson to learn because you want to be around. You want to be there for every step of the way. It's like I don't have kids, but I would imagine that that's what it feels like when there's a career-driven, you know, couple or a single parent that wants to be around for the kid, but it's like I can't be around.
Yeah.
Right.
And then what about, do you ever drive your mom around? Just to drive her around?
Just to drive her
And what
around.
does she say when you guys are driving around? Do you have a route that you take? Because you don't want to leave your parents or your grandparents like just sitting on the chair all day.
No.
It's not good for their blood circulation. It's not
I've
good
even
for their
taken my
feet.
mom to the store, like when I would do spots, and she would wait for me in the car.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
sometimes she's like, I don't feel like getting off.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna wait here, and I said that's fine. And I kept running back and forth, and then it's like I'd stay there, and then literally like one of the door guys would be like, hey, they just got the light. Okay, I'm like, Mom, I'll be back in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I do my set, come back. Hey, Mom.
So when you drive around in your neighborhood in Long Beach with her, do you just say, you feel it in the house, you're like, because this is what I would do. I'd see like my mom would be sitting there for a while. I'm like, Mom, let's go for a drive.
Yeah. I
You
do
know
it
what I
all the
mean?
time.
And I would take her for a drive, and I'd have a route. You know what I mean? That I would take her, and she would comment, oh, look at that. Drive by the store. Look at that. Does she comment when you drive her around?
Yes. We drive around. She's like, oh, remember? It's like, actually, we drove in Long
Isn't
Beach.
it nice to drive?
Beautiful.
I know.
It's beautiful, dude. It's
great.
one of the.
I'm gonna start driving him around soon.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me know. I want
It's
to
about
come.
time.
Yeah.
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 we-
So tell me about that.
So we drove around Long Beach, and my mom remembered this story. So there's when you go to Long Beach towards like the Pike or Shoreline Village, on Pine Street there's a big like dip, right? You're driving on Pine, and then you take like a big hill, downward hill, and then you go into Shoreline Village. we drove down there, and we hadn't driven down there in a while. Well, not with my mom. And she goes, "Oh my God, do you remember the time?" Because we used to go walk every morning from Fifth and Magnolia all the way down to like the Terrence Theater, where Richard Pryor recorded his special.
Yeah.
So we would walk all the way down there through Shoreline and come back. That was like summer, Monday through Friday for me.
Wow.
And then I would work on weekends with my dad. So we drive down the thing. My mom goes, "Do you remember when you went down the hill on a skateboard? There
wow.
is it on your stomach, and I told you not to, and then you kept saying it." And then she's like, I stood there, I'm like, "All right, show me." And I went downhill on the skateboard on my stomach, and I tumbled. Like I ate it pretty hard.
Right.
And then, he's like, by the time I got to the bottom of the hill, you're like, "I deserve that." He's like, "Yeah." And then it's like, we finished the walk. But just going, "Hey, this is where this happened. This is where that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, look, they painted it." It's one of the coolest things.
Yeah, it means a lot for the people listening and watching. If you do have parents, grandparents,
Drive them around.
drive them around, man. It's like driving Miss Daisy, that old fucking movie, yeah?
You know what
it's
I've done as of
important.
recent?
Yeah.
It's like I've been, now that everything's up and open and stuff, it's like, well, some things have already opened, but like the park, there's some benches, away from everybody. Even at the beach, there's like a bench. They can sit there, they chill, and I go and jog
Jog
and,
around,
and,
yeah.
and run
That's
it.
nice.
And
That's
every
nice.
time I run by them, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey!"
Yeah.
And my mom's like, "Oh, there you are
That's
again."
great. So 8 years working with me on the road. You've been doing it 13 years.
Yeah.
You've somehow kind of you've mined yourself through a lot of bullshit, and somehow you landed on a 1 hour Showtime special. A lot of people don't get that.
Hard work.
No, but everyone works hard. Sandy Danto works hard. Benji Afalo, everyone works hard. But something happened where it clicked for you. You have your show that just got picked up for a second season.
Yeah, Tacos con Todo.
Yeah, got that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the Showtime special, I mean, I don't even think I've ever done a 1 hour straight Showtime special.
Really?
No, just like Bobby Lee. Like me and Bobby Lee are the two guys that have been doing it for fucking 20 something years.
Is that true?
Yeah, not straight through. Like I do specials, but there's always like interstitial bits. Do you know what I mean? Like there's packages.
Oh,
Yours is a
interesting.
straight 1 hour. That's
Yeah.
hard.
That was a dream. I mean, when I got into comedy.
So you got a 1 hour Showtime special.
Uh-huh.
It just aired on May 29th, right?
Showtime, Stay at Home Son.
Yeah, and it's fucking, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And now you have the Tacos con Todo show that's getting millions of views.
Yeah.
You got the Showtime special. Now I need to open for you.
Hilarious.
Hey, dude! Chinese! So tell us what that was like preparing for that.
It was
You know,
great.
Yeah.
It's
You had
probably-
your cards, you're downtown, you at your work spot, right?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I had my wall in my room just covered in paper, just with notes, because I would go to bed and I wake up staring at this wall of paper and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Where did you get that idea from to put that on the walls and stuff like that? Or how'd you come up with that?
I don't know. I just wanted to see it. I
Yeah.
wanted something to stare at, while I was falling asleep, and or in the morning, when those 5-10 minutes when you like wake up and trying to get the eye boogers out of your eyes, and you're just looking at it and like, all right, just kind
Yeah.
of thinking. So I just kind of put it in the back of my mind and go throughout the day. Sometimes like, oh wait, I could write that down.
And plus, when you visualize it, you could see the order and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes, order. But I would go to this co-working space in downtown LA, the WeWork, and also the one on La Brea, and I would use the meeting rooms there because I could lay everything out on a whiteboard so I can see it. I can
Visualize it. Yeah.
visualize
yeah,
it, and I wanted to break it down in thirds. So it's like every 20 minutes, it's like basically a storyline, 3 acts. And my upbringing. This is who I was. This is where I'm at now. These are my parents. And then at that point, I've defined and set up every variable. So in the end, I can use those variables that people are already acquainted with in the previous 40 minutes of my act, my sensibilities, my parents, and these characters. And I tied it together with one story, and I try to do little callbacks. And then, the experience was great because even in the editing room, I realized that it was a way of rewriting the special again. The special went long. I had no concept of that. So I had to cut out some jokes, and some callbacks were lost. And it was like, as a comic, you're like, damn it, this is how I've been doing it. And I kind of want this callback to this makes sense. But, you know, you arrive at a place where you're happy with it. And it was, I think, 62 minutes was the final.
That's all. I don't even fucking do 62. I do like 42 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's awesome. You got the show.
Yeah.
When you picked up second season. Tell us about the show. Tacos con todos, dude.
Yeah, Tacos con Todo. The great people over at.
It's like the Spanish version of like Bourdain or something.
Yeah, it definitely has a splash of that. It has, you know, it's, you know, complex. First We Feast, they approached me about this idea of like mapping out the, you know, the delicious taco scene that exists here in LA, and you know, be able to talk shop with comedians, have some laughs, and they asked me if I wanted to host it. I said great, and you know, they had all these episodes laid out, and it was just awesome. They, you know, for me to come on board and host, I had never done anything in the hosting space in particular, but this was really cool. I got to meet new friends, you know, comedian friends. Got to hang out with old friends.
And this is the same people that do Hot Wings. Can you tell them what?
Not Hot Wings, Hot Ones.
Hot Ones, yeah. I like Hot Wings.
Dude,
Chinese,
bro.
Anyway, so that's on. It's all happening.
Yeah.
Second season.
We
got fucking.
We got some special surprises on this second season. I'm really excited.
Ooh.
So we're gonna hopefully we get to shoot that, you know, real soon. But yeah, first season was great. Thank you everyone who took the time to watch it, share it, and rewatch them, because I mean, yeah, we had some really good numbers. I think it was the highest viewed out of a new series out of everyththing they've put out in First We Feast, from what I'm told. So.
Except my episode. My episode.
Your episode did great,
Mine
man.
was good. Yeah, we were good.
Yeah, no, it was fun, and
Yeah.
it was cool to connect and have fun that way. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, and on that note, it's time for rant number what, dude?
Number 3, man.
Number 3, dude. Dance.
The windshield wiper.
All right, cut the music. Whew. This is.
Did you get
cardio
winded doing
Yeah,
that?
that was tough.
Cardio.
So
Did you get winded?
Oh yeah. Take my pulse.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the world has gone to some sort of a crazy fucking like. It got punched in the stomach. The whole world got punched in the stomach. First with the corona, and then with the looting and the riots and that you know.
No, it's the Black Lives Matter movement, and I think it's a time of change, you know, and I think everything is
shifting,
and for the better, you know. There needs to be change, you know, and it's, you know, it's yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean,
I think it's great, and you know,
I'm happy that it's not letting up. I'm happy that the looting is stopped, but I'm happy that the marching is still going.
Yeah,
and I think that's cool.
I think it's great, and I think that people coming together and marching, it's like, yeah, people need to have their voices
and
heard.
It's great. And if you're watching and you're watching the news and you're checking this shit out, a lot of these police forces are getting dismantled.
Yeah.
You know, which is awesome. You know, to me, the way to find like a white supremacy like police guy is just to go on their Facebook. And if they're at a barbecue with a Confederate flag and guns, then just fucking take their badge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Take their shit.
That's a tell.
You know what I mean?
And then, you know, I'm not too well versed in this, but it was something I read yesterday, and I didn't understand what like dismantling
A police.
the police meant. And
mining through it.
well, what I came to learn, and I could be wrong, but this is I still want to read more on it. But what I understand is that they're taking money from, say, money that was allocated towards the police and putting it into other resources. You know, mental health, you know, schools, programs for kids, and you know, the healthcare system. And they made a great point. Now, again, I'm paraphrasing, but I just thought it was really interesting how it was laid out. And they said, you know, when you only have one tool for a problem, you know, everything becomes a target. But when you have these resources spread out and you put money into like healthcare, mental wellness, you know, stuff like that, it's like now you have different tools to help. Not everything needs a cop. You know, sometimes
Yes.
you need to address an issue from the root of it.
Exactly. They were talking about instead when they call 911, instead of police showing up or a fire department showing up, there's someone that's, like you said, like a mental health person.
Yeah, professional.
A professional person, so it's not coming in there with guns and this force.
You can't use this tool for every problem. It's like sometimes you need specialized tools that can help address. But I think it's great. It's like the marching is not stopping. I think it's great, and
Yeah, so it's cool. Stuff is reopening right now. Stuff is reopening slowly but surely. Like for instance, last night, me and my friend Andrew, we had a glass of wine in Los Feliz.
Really?
Outside in a restaurant. We actually sat there at a fucking restaurant outside last night and had a glass, and it was so weird because obviously bad things are good things because something good always comes from a bad thing. So for instance, while I was sitting there, I just felt so much more appreciative of just the simple fact that I could sit and have a glass of wine.
That's beautiful.
And I think at the end of the day, we got all our kind of freedoms kind of, taken from us for a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it's been. And I think the simple things like, I met Bill at Starbucks. The simple thing is like Starbucks is such a social place for people just to gather and work on their computer. And once they start opening Starbucks and we can all sit there, I think we're all going to really appreciate the fact that we can just sit in a Starbucks.
Yeah.
So I think in a way that's been, pretty positive.
Yeah.
Just reappreciating. Even the gym, like I'm dying to go to the gym, and it's
now?
Not right this second.
No, I'm like, no, now you want to work out?
No, but you know what I'm saying? And it's just going back and like, oh my God, there's weights. And it's almost like like you talk about someone going to prison. When they go to prison, what's the first thing they want to do when they get out? They want to have a fucking Maltese. They want to have a fucking cheeseburger. They want to shower. Right. It's those little things that we take for granted that now I think people aren't going to take as granted for as much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's things are slowly opening up. I hope people stay safe. But it's really it's so true. I think people are going to be very appreciative of things that maybe we took for granted before.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just sitting in
a restaurant,
socializing. I mean, how many fucking takeouts? You know what I mean? It's like, and here in LA, I was in Maui for fucking 2-3 months or whatever I was, and it didn't exist out there. There was no riots. There was no, not a lot of corona. There wasn't, so everyone was like living on this bubble. And then I come to LA and I land, first of all, just being on the plane was crazy because they don't serve alcohol anymore. Period. There's no more food on the planes.
Right.
So what they do is they give you a plastic bag with like chips in it and, a water bottle and like a granola bar. And they're just like, here. And that's it. And we're talking all the planes. Mm-hmm. You go to LA to New York, that's all you're gonna get, even first class.
Wow.
It's like there's none of that. So I get to LA and I land and everyone's got these masks on. And especially in LA, people are super, super masky out here. Mm-hmm. It's a different world. I landed in a different world and people are really obsessive with it out here. And it's and then there's obviously everything's boarded up and nothing's open, and it feels like this town's been sucker punched. And I was born and raised here, and it's a very odd time,
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, but everything is it's just going through some change right now, and it's I think moving forward, I think everyone's gonna have this leading with your heart mentality of
appreciative.
Yeah, appreciative, and I think there over time there was a lot of connection lost between mind and heart, and I think now I think people realize that the heart has a brighter light than
people have been forced to kind of slow down.
Yeah,
right.
You get forced to slow down. I have this saying like, if you go to prison, you have two ways to be. You can either be the guy in prison that's finds Jesus and he's like all appreciative of his cell, and he's got his family there, and his little top ramen cooker, and his fucking chili paste, and his, you know, and his weights, and his everything is set up, and he's like, cool. And then there's the guy that's in solitary confinement throwing feces, you know, that's not cool there.
Right.
And I think that had a lot of people, you know, we as humans, I think, especially being quarantined, go in that kind of back and forth feeling of like, you know, hey, I can just chill, and like, or now I want to, you know, especially for us. I mean, we haven't been on stage in what, 3-4 months?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and it's tough. You know, it's like, I know you were a musician. We were talking about this, you know, off camera, but like
Right.
for a musician, it's like one can technically create in a vacuum,
Yeah.
but for us, it's like
you need that laughter.
we need the
Yeah.
feedback. So
Yeah, and
Right.
yeah.
but also I think the quarantine made me realize, like, you know, the old saying, what is it? Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
I realized how many eggs I put into the comedy basket, you know, and it's like, it was therapy, it was fun, it
Wow.
was my work, it was this. It's like, even if it's something so fun, you cannot put your everything in
Yeah.
it, because the moment it's not there.
Yeah, and speaking of that, also financially, you know what I mean? Hopefully it woke a lot of people up not to spend.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of people that live paycheck to paycheck.
I think that's an important thing you just brought up. It made people realize what was important, right? The quarantine made people realize what was important, and what are you spending your money on? Do you really need this every day? Is it within your means to buy XYZ every day, or go to even Starbucks is like, do you need that every day? So it's like, you start to realize where all the money was going, and, you know.
Well, it's called save it for a rainy day.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the old saying, you know, and it's
Moving forward, it's going to be save it for
Yeah.
for a quarantine.
yeah. And it's interesting, the masks, you know, this whole masks thing, it's, you know, there's certain people that have certain masks that are like designer masks, you know, and they're always like up in that. And then there's certain people that have like the hospital masks, you know, that are there. The thing that's tough for me with the mask is speaking. You know,
Really?
because you're speaking and there's a plexiglass there, and then there's a person over there with a mask. So it's almost like your mom, like, I'll have a double cappuccino. What? So I was thinking it'd be cool if the mask had little baby speakers,
Oh,
you know,
there you
like
go.
built into it. Yeah, let me get a latte with a fucking. Don't you think that'd be cool?
It'd be interesting, yeah.
I like
I
it.
mean,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't know that there's anything out there like that. You should. You heard it here first, you know. Pauly's $1 million idea.
Yeah. Patent pending. Yeah.
Patent pending, right? Yeah. No, but it's like, yeah, the mask is gonna be here for some time.
yeah.
I don't know that it's gonna go away for a while.
Yeah, especially not in LA, but on states like Oklahoma, where I'm going next week. I'm
Congratulations!
Yeah, I'm performing there, and then I'm going to Dallas. So I'm going to the red states, and I'm doing shows.
Awesome. That was a good time. Oklahoma?
Yeah.
What club are you?
Shit, I'm fucking an idiot. I forgot.
I love Oklahoma and I love Texas, so it's
Yeah.
like those states are gonna be a good
And
time.
Trevino just texted me the other day, and he's
cool.
like, you know, you want to play, you know, blah blah blah, Texas. I'm like,
That's
how far
awesome.
is the drive from fucking Dallas? He goes, it's 400 and blah 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 miles. I'm like, I'm good. I mean, that's a far one. But anyways. But you know,
it's great,
But
you
I'm
know?
going back out there right now. It's 50% capacity, and I think I'll know next week if they're going to move it up. And I'm definitely taking a chance, you know. But you know, if I get it, I get it. I'll fucking deal with it, and hopefully, I'm going to stay away from people. People are going to be, you know.
Are you gonna be selling merch?
No,
No?
I'm not going to be doing merch.
Okay.
No.
So
no.
just
It's just me and Josh. Yeah, we're just
Good.
going to go out there. We're going to tell our jokes and get back on that fucking
Oklahoma and
stage.
Texas. I mean, it's a good time. You're gonna have some great shows,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be calling you up for sure to see how.
Yeah. Well, Brad
going.
Williams played the club, and he said it was fine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So thanks for doing this. I
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
I love you.
Love you guys.
And
Yeah, nice job.
and where do people find you? Where do they Instagram? All that stuff. Tell them all the stuff where people can check it out.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and you can catch me on Instagram at Jesus Trejo, the number 1, Twitter at Jesus Trejo, or my website JESUSTREJO, JesusTrejo.com.
And then also your Showtime special. and then
Showtime
tacos.
Showtime special out now. Stay at home, son. Showtime. Sign up for a free 30-day period. Check it out. You can cancel anytime. And also Tacos con Todo on First We Feast Complex as well.
And it's the people that bring you the hot wings, right?
Yeah. Hot ones, Pauly.
I know, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, it's Tacos con Todo. We got a second season, so thank you everyone who checked that out. And
yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. And then Bill, you want to
Certainly.
tell them where they can find you?
Oh, certainly. On YouTube, Bill G. DiGilio Music.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet you
Yeah.
too. I don't
Yeah.
think we've ever met. It was
Yeah.
a pleasure
No,
to meet
first
you,
time.
man.
But you've seen him though. He's famous, right?
Yeah, he's famous,
Yeah,
man.
he's famous.
Yeah, he's famous.
So mine's Pauly Shore at Pauly Shore. Check me out, Oklahoma City, Dallas. I'm fucking going back out there. Thank you, All Things Comedy, for letting me do this. And we'll see you guys next time on Random Rants. Peace, guys. Bye.